Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I asked you guys what you wanted to see and y'all all said labor and delivery, so I will be telling my story today. Let's get into it. So I knew from the day I found out that I was pregnant that I wanted to have an all-natural labor. I did not want an epidural, no type of pain medicine. So I had always prayed to God that Luke would be born at 38 weeks and that he would be 7 pounds. I prayed for a 7-pound baby because me and Jordan were both big babies and I just had a feeling that he was going to be big. I actually had a few scares throughout my pregnancy at 33 weeks and at 37 and a half weeks. I went in at 33 weeks, had contractions all day long. She texted me. I was only 1 centimeter dilated and 70% effaced. So I got sent home with some medicine to stop the contractions. We were good. Came up on 37 and a half weeks, same thing happened. Went into labor and delivery, still 1 centimeter, still 70% effaced. Got sent home. That was on Sunday night. The next Tuesday, I actually went into labor. So I had always slept with a towel on the bed because if my water broke in bed, I did not want that getting all over our mattress. So I actually woke up to my water breaking, so good thing that I thought of that towel. Woke up to my water breaking 3:12 a.m. Thought, oh my god, did I just pee myself? My kid sat low. I had to pee all the time. Never peed myself, but you never know when you're that pregnant. And I stood up with the towel just in case, and it just like my water just like gushed, and I was like, okay. So I ran to our bathroom, pulled down my pants, more water. Okay, I was ready for labor, but the day that your water breaks, and like obviously there's no turning back in general, but the day your water breaks, you're like, holy crap, this is happening and this is happening today. So I was like, oh my god, I'm having a baby today. What do I do? Go wake up your husband. Went over to Jordan, like barely shook him. You guys, this guy is not a morning person at all. He does not wake up easily. Like shook him. I whispered, babe, my water just broke. And he sprung up. He was awake. He was like, what do we do? Do we need to call the hospital? I was like, yeah, call the hospital, see what they say. They told me, they're like, don't like rush getting in. If you're not having contractions or if your contractions aren't bad, like take your time. So I took a shower, took a nice long shower. I ate breakfast, like took my time getting ready, made sure I had everything in my hospital bag that was already packed because like I said, I had had a few scares before. So that bag was ready to go, but just made sure I had everything in there that I wanted because this was happening and I didn't want anything left at home. Texted my friend that would be watching Piper, just getting ready. I had been taking like weekly pictures and we were actually heading out the door because I had turned 38 weeks the day that I went into labor. We walked out the door. I was like, wait, I didn't take my picture. So we went back inside, took my picture, posted it like nothing was going on because we live in Hawaii. I didn't want all of my family and friends like blowing up my phone like, oh my gosh, how's your labor going, blah blah blah, whatever people say. I don't know. I wanted it to be just me and Jordan. I needed Jordan to be focused on me to like help me get through labor, and I needed me to be focused on me and not with all the distractions. So I was just like, 38 weeks, can't wait for you to come, because this was happening and I couldn't wait for him to come. So we headed to the hospital, checked in. They made sure that it was indeed my water that was broken. It was. So they started an IV and they said, okay, now we wait. So I had a very specific birth plan. I did not want an epidural. I didn't even want them saying the word epidural because I didn't want to be tempted. I was very determined to do it without. I said I don't want an episiotomy. I don't want a C-section, obviously, unless it's like me or my kid's life is in danger and like it needed to happen. They had a jacuzzi tub. I wanted to use that for pain management. I wanted to use a yoga ball for pain management. I wanted Christian music playing the whole time, but that wasn't realistic. I was in labor for 16 hours, so that was not realistic at all. But it was playing while I was pushing, so that's what really mattered. I had wanted essential oils, just all this stuff. We started walking the halls pretty early. They gave me breakfast. I ate. I was gonna go start walking again, and my contractions kind of started picking up. Not anything near how they were at the end, but they started picking up. So I said, hey, can I get this yoga ball? Sat on the yoga ball until that was too uncomfortable to do because at some point like sitting was impossible. So I started like standing over this thing and just swaying back and forth. She said, hey, do you want to get in the tub? And I said, yes, put me in that thing. Jordan ran my bath. I got in, he said, do you want your essential oils? And the thought of like lavender made me nauseous. I was like, nope, no way. That was on my birth plan. That never happened. So I sat in the tub until I wasn't allowed to anymore because they needed to monitor Luke. So I got out of the tub, went back to the sink, was standing over the sink. We got to the hospital like 4 a.m. So this whole time, probably until like 3 or 4, I was just like trying all these different things, seeing whatever worked. Probably like 4 or 5, they thought Luke was in distress because he kept moving so much that they could, like, the heart rate band that they put on for him, they kept like losing his heartbeat because he kept moving so much. So they said, oh my god, your baby's in distress, get in the bed. So I'm like in the bed. The most uncomfortable thing when you are going through contractions is to just like be sitting in a bed. They dropped the bed down, put like this squatting bar. I tried that, it wasn't comfortable. I tried like leaning over the bed so that my stomach front side was against the bed. That was so uncomfortable. I was like, okay, roll me back over, this is not working. And finally I just like found like a comfortable position of like sitting up, and I was just holding both of the bars, and at this point my contractions were unbearable, okay? Terrible. I thought, dramatic, I don't care, I thought I was gonna die. It was awful. Jordan was feeding me ice chips because you can't eat. I snuck in a few peanut M&Ms like when contractions weren't that bad like earlier, but other than that I wasn't eating, so he was just feeding me ice chips. I thought I had to push. I never knew that like pushing was involuntary when you're in labor, so I'm like, I have to push, I have to push. She checked me, I was like 7.5 or 8 centimeters. I wasn't 10, I know that. And she was like, you can't, like, you have to contain this feeling. And so I was like going through contractions, like holding these bars, holding my breath. Jordan's like, you have to breathe. So I'm like breathing, I'm like barely pushing because she told me not to, but it was so hard not to. The doctor that was on call, she was not my OB. I remember she came in to check me because I was like, you guys, I have to push. Like, this kid is coming out. And she was standing there, and my contractions were close together. And I couldn't lay down because laying down with a contraction was like impossible. It was so painful. So there was like a small window that she had to check me, and she was on her phone, you guys, on her phone. Me and Jordan were just like, are you kidding me? Like afterwards, of course, we're like, are you kidding me? But I'm like, lady, listen, if you're gonna check me, you need to do it whenever I'm not having a contraction. You need to be quick, okay? This is a serious situation. She puts down her phone. My next contraction had already came and gone, so they laid me down. She checked me. I was like a 9, I think, or a 9.5. And she leaves, and at 7 o'clock, I was a 9.5, I remember. At 7 o'clock, my OB came on. Thank the Lord, because I did not want that woman delivering my baby. She was not even paying attention or caring about my labor, I felt like. I was 9.5 centimeters, and I looked at my nurse that had been with me all day, and I was like, I am pushing. And so she was like, okay. She laid me down. We were gonna practice push, and they laid me down. My OB came in, and like, it wasn't practice pushing, it was real pushing. Okay, so I started pushing at 7 o'clock. They put me on oxygen because I guess I wasn't getting enough. I don't really remember, like, that part was fuzzy to me, but I started pushing. Everyone's like, you're doing such a good job, you're doing such a good job, and I'm like, then why isn't my kid out of me yet? I was pushing for 43 minutes. He was born at 7:43. And I just remember them like, okay, one more push. And I'm like, how many one more pushes do we have to go? But he finally came out at 7:43, and it was the biggest relief, I swear, obviously, because I finally got this kid out of me. But they plopped him on my chest. I wanted immediate skin to skin, and I wanted delayed cord clamping. So they immediately put him on my skin. I was like, don't clamp the cord, don't clamp it. They're like, we know, we read your birth plan. So I'm like holding him, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe you're finally here. And he had like fluid in his lungs, so he was crying, but he wasn't crying good enough. So they waited until my cord had finished draining, and I delivered my placenta. And they took him just over to the warmer, like he was still in the room with us. And I just remember like looking at Jordan, I was like, I did it with no epidural, like I did it. And he was like, I know, babe, I'm so proud of you, like I can't believe he's finally here. And finally he started like crying really good, so they brought him back over to us, and we were just like so in awe. I had to get stitches, so she, like, during the time that he was taken away from me, she just stitched me up. It was just such an incredible moment. It was like I had worked so hard for 16 hours, and you guys, I'm not kidding you, like, that was the worst pain I've ever been in my life. Probably the worst pain I'll ever go through in my entire life, but it was so worth it the moment that they laid him on my chest. I was like, I can't believe, like, the human that I've been growing for the past 38 weeks and that I've been trying to get out of my body for the past 16 hours is finally here. He was smushed, but he was perfect. 7 pounds, 1 ounce, 17 and a half inches long. I asked for a 38-weeker and a 7-pound baby, and God delivered. God also got me through medication-free birth, which blows my mind. So if you're questioning whether you can have an epidural-free birth, you can do it. It is totally possible. Yeah, that's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!